Joy Behar crossed a line that can't be undone. What was supposed to be just another episode of The View spiraled into scandal when Behar made a sexist remark about Karoline Leavitt, the 27-year-old press secretary for Donald Trump. The irony, Behar, a self-proclaimed advocate for women's empowerment, reduced the accomplished Leavitt to nothing more than a superficial jab about her looks. The backlash was immediate and brutal, but what many didn't expect was Leavitt's response. She hit back with poise, facts, and confidence, completely flipping the narrative. And when Whoopi Goldberg attempted to shut her down, it didn't go as planned. Joy Behar has found herself at the center of a major controversy, one that may be impossible to walk back. During a recent episode of The View, she made a comment that ignited widespread accusations of sexism, targeting Caroline Leavitt, Donald Trump's 27-year-old press secretary. Behar suggested that Leavitt's appearance rather than her qualifications was the reason for her position, stating, "I think she's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. The remark instantly sparked outrage not just among conservatives but across the political spectrum. The hypocrisy in Behar's remark was impossible to ignore. As a vocal advocate for women's rights and empowerment, she reduced Caroline Leavitt, a young, skilled political strategist, to nothing more than a judgment of her appearance. This wasn't just an insult to Leavitt, it was a slap in the face to every woman who has fought to be valued for her skills, not her looks. Critics wasted no time calling her out, pointing out the contradiction in her words versus her actions. Social media erupted with backlash, with users slamming Behar for embodying the very sexism The View claims to stand against. One viral comment summed up the sentiment perfectly. Joy Behar accuses Caroline Leavitt of being hired for her looks. Isn't this the exact sexism she claims to fight against? But while many expected Leavitt to stay silent or brush off the controversy, she did the opposite. She fought back with confidence, facts, and composure, completely dismantling Behar's accusation. Caroline Leavitt didn't back down from Joy Behar's remarks. She confronted them directly, with composure and precision that left the panel visibly rattled. Rather than sidestepping the controversy, she methodically dismantled Behar's sexist accusation, firmly asserting that her position was based on skill and experience, not her appearance. By the time she finished, the tables had completely turned. Behar, who was used to having the upper hand in these discussions, suddenly looked uneasy, while even Whoopi Goldberg, normally quick to back her co-hosts, seemed caught off guard. But the turning point came when Whoopi Goldberg attempted to interrupt, perhaps to steer the conversation away from the uncomfortable truth. But Leavitt stood firm, refusing to be silenced. In doing so, she didn't just defend herself. She exposed The View's tendency to shut down voices that challenge their progressive agenda. Viewers immediately took notice, and social media erupted with praise for Leavitt's unwavering confidence. Many called it one of the most powerful moments in recent political television, a rare instance where a guest refused to let the panel control the narrative. Leavitt wasn't just on the defensive, she went on the offensive, turning the spotlight onto The View's long history of hypocrisy. While the show frequently touts itself as a champion of women's empowerment, she pointed out that their support seems conditional. Conservative women, no matter how accomplished, are regularly demeaned, dismissed, and attacked the moment they stray from the panel's progressive ideology. Her argument resonated deeply, particularly when she referenced past instances where figures like Kayleigh McEnany and Sarah Huckabee Sanders had faced similar treatment. The conversation took an even sharper turn when Whoopi Goldberg, clearly frustrated, launched into a passionate rant about wokeness. However, her outbursts only validated Leavitt's argument. The View wasn't engaging in meaningful debate, but rather resorting to emotional appeals and ideological attacks. The exchange left many questioning whether The View was truly a space for open discussion or simply a platform for one-sided narratives. Whoopi Goldberg's emotional outburst didn't just derail the discussion, it completely unraveled The View's credibility in real time. As she fixated on Caroline Leavitt's past remark about rejecting wokeness, Goldberg seemed more focused on defending the concept than engaging in an actual debate. She passionately argued that wokeness was essential for societal progress, dismissing any criticisms as ignorance. But in doing so, she failed to acknowledge a crucial reality. Wokeness has become one of the most divisive issues in modern discourse, often alienating people rather than uniting them. Instead of countering Leavitt's stance with facts or reasoned arguments, Goldberg took a patronizing approach, implying that Leavitt lacked the historical knowledge to understand social progress. This condescension only reinforced the exact criticisms many have about wokeness. It often comes across as elitist, dismissive, and intolerant of differing perspectives. And rather than silencing Leavitt, Goldberg's aggressive tone had the opposite effect. The more she tried to steamroll the conversation, the more composed and confident Leavitt appeared, making The View look less like a platform for thoughtful discussion and more like an echo chamber that couldn't handle opposing viewpoints. But the real damage wasn't just done on air. It was amplified tenfold once the segment hit social media. Clips of Joy Behar's sexist remarks and Goldberg's meltdown spread like wildfire, sparking outrage across the political spectrum. It wasn't just conservatives calling out the hypocrisy. Many neutral and even left-leaning views. How could The View claim to support women's empowerment while tearing down a young, accomplished woman simply because of her political affiliations? The backlash was swift, with countless users pointing out that Behar's comment was exactly the kind of sexist rhetoric the show claimed to oppose. And the fallout didn't stop there. Major media outlets quickly picked up the controversy, with headlines dissecting The View's growing credibility crisis. What was supposed to be just another panel discussion had spiraled into a PR nightmare, forcing ABC executives into damage control mode. According to insider reports, frustration is mounting behind the scenes, with top brass increasingly fed up with the constant scandals surrounding the show. In particular, Joy Behar, who has been a fixture on The View for years, now finds herself in a precarious position. With audience trust dwindling and backlash mounting, the network may be forced to take drastic measures to salvage its reputation. Behind the scenes at ABC, the fallout from this controversy has sent shockwaves through the network. Executives who are no strangers to The View's frequent controversies were reportedly blindsided by the sheer scale of the backlash. While the show thrives on heated debates and headline-grabbing moments, there's a clear difference between stirring conversation and alienating viewers outright. And this time, Joy Behar's comments may have pushed things too far. According to insider reports, top decision makers are now questioning whether keeping Behar on the show is worth the repeated PR disasters she brings. Though The View has built its reputation on being provocative, there comes a point where controversy becomes more of a liability than an asset, and this latest incident highlights a growing issue, not just with the show, but with the broader media landscape. It's not just about Behar's misstep. It's about the shifting public perception of mainstream media platforms that claim to advocate for equality, but often contradict those very principles. This time, the backlash wasn't confined to conservative circles. The overwhelming support for Caroline Leavitt came from across the political spectrum, demonstrating a deep frustration with media double standards. What stood out most was the reaction from viewers, who typically wouldn't align with Leavitt's political stance. Many took to social media to express their surprise at how composed and articulate she remained, despite the hostility she faced. Some even admitted they were no fans of Leavitt's policies, but they couldn't ignore how unprofessional and inappropriate Behar's remarks were. It wasn't just a personal attack on Leavitt, it was a broader insult to professional women everywhere who want to be recognised for their work rather than reduced to their appearance. Even well-known liberal voices joined the chorus of criticism against Behar. One prominent commentator summed it up perfectly. You don't have to agree with Caroline Leavitt politically to see that what Joy Behar said was completely inappropriate. Reducing a woman's career to her looks, that's just gross. This widespread condemnation only solidified the growing perception that The View isn't about empowering women, it's about enforcing a particular narrative, and if a woman doesn't fit into that mold, she becomes fair game for mockery and dismissal. At this point, the damage has been done, and ABC executives are scrambling to contain the fallout. With trust in The View dwindling and its credibility under fire, the question now is whether the network will take real action, or if they'll simply wait for the controversy to blow over, hoping viewers will eventually forget. The fallout from this controversy isn't just about Joy Behar. It highlights a much larger issue in mainstream media. Caroline Leavitt's moment on The View marked a turning point, not just for her, but for many viewers frustrated with the glaring double standards at play. This wasn't just a heated debate, it was a wake-up call for audiences who are tired of seeing conservative women dismissed, ridiculed, or outright attacked simply for holding different views. As support for Leavitt continues to surge, ABC executives are scrambling to control the damage. The backlash has been overwhelming, and the network's top brass are reportedly in panic mode. Behind closed doors, discussions are intensifying about whether keeping Joy Behar is worth the ongoing headaches. While The View thrives on controversy, there's a difference between sparking engaging discussions and alienating viewers. This time, Behar's remarks have done more harm than good, and ABC's leadership knows it. Adding to the pressure, the show's declining ratings are becoming impossible to ignore. For years, The View has relied on high-profile clashes and viral moments to maintain relevance, but the tide is shifting. Viewers are tuning out, frustrated by the one-sided nature of the debates. Advertisers, always wary of controversy, are starting to reconsider their partnerships with the show. One insider even hinted that ABC executives are tired of constantly having to do damage control and are seriously contemplating a major shakeup. Could this be the final straw for Joy Behar? However, this situation extends far beyond just one co-host. The treatment of Caroline Leavitt highlights a troubling pattern in how women with conservative views are portrayed on mainstream media. Whether it's the media dismissing their professional accomplishments or reducing them to stereotypes based on their political beliefs, conservative women are constantly undermined. Leavitt's experience on The View is just one example of a broader issue that has yet to be addressed. It's clear that Caroline Leavitt is not backing down, and her fight isn't over. With support continuing to build in her favour, the question remains, how will The View handle the fallout? Will they be forced to make changes to their approach? Or will they continue to push their progressive agenda at the cost of alienating their viewers? If you're still shocked by what happened, you're not alone. Smash that like button and subscribe now for more on this ongoing story. Hit the bell icon so you won't miss what happens next. The conversation is just getting started. Drop your thoughts below and join the heated debate. Let's keep the pressure on. This is one battle that isn't over yet.